So if you're someone who is currently living in New York City or actively looking to do so, you definitely understand how much of a struggle and a hassle it is to find an apartment here in the city. I myself moved to New York City back in July of 2022. I live in the Murray Hill neighborhood and absolutely love it. I get a lot of questions here on this channel about how I found my apartment and the process that I had to go through. And just like everyone else, trust me, my story is very hectic. So here's what happened. Ever since I had accepted my job offer in October of 2021, I had decided to live with one of my best friends who also had a job lined up in the city. A few months after that, in early 2022, I was doing a lot of research in terms of when the best time to apartment search was, and everything I looked at pretty much was saying that you had to look about a month before your expected move-in date. In case you're not already aware, the apartment market here in New York City is very hot and constantly moves very quickly. And to make it worse, I wanted to move summer of 2022, which is conveniently when everyone wanted to move to New York City. After knowing this time frame, I started looking at the app StreetEasy to kind of get an idea of what rents were going for apartments that I would be interested in, and also kind of what the apartments looked like in the different neighborhoods. At this point, I had already kind of decided that I was going to budget $2,000 a month for rent in New York City, which is by no means a lot, but should at least get me a room. My friend and I decided we really just wanted to live somewhere on the east side of Manhattan, so we were kind of up for anything in between Murray Hill down to East Village, so there's a lot of space there, and that's kind of the typical space that recent college grads who are working a professional job tend to live. But honestly, once I was on StreetEasy, I started to get pretty nervous. It was pretty hard to find a solid 2-bedroom apartment under that $4,000 budget that we had set. But I didn't let this get me discouraged, since I knew I still had some time, and honestly, this is the few months leading up to graduation, and I was just determined to not let this stress me out. Now, fast forward a couple of months, it is now late April. Things are a bit more real now. I'm just about to graduate from the University of Florida, and my expected move-in date was around 3 months away. And despite all of this, I still had absolutely no plans of where I was going to live. Then my friend who I was going to live with ends up getting another job offer from Microsoft in Seattle. In case you live under a rock, Microsoft is a major tech company and is certainly considered the big leagues for anyone in software engineering, which is what my buddy was doing. Because this was an opportunity he could absolutely not pass up on, my friend decided he was going to accept this offer and move to Seattle, leaving me to fend for myself here in New York City alone. This all went down just days before graduation, so this was a very stressful time for a pretty major part of my future plans to fall through. But I still was so happy for my friend because this was his dreams coming true, and I did still have that confidence that everything would still somehow work out in the end. Then graduation comes and goes, and I'm still in Gainesville, finishing up some other work and hanging out with my girlfriend. That's when she shows me a message from one of her friends who saw a guy from their high school had posted on Instagram asking if anyone was moving to New York City and looking for a place to live. Because I was recently roommateless and scrambling, I reached out. It turned out that he already had an amazing apartment lined up in Murray Hill. His cousin had lived there the last few years while attending NYU med school and was working with a broker to give him the lease once he moved out. So this mutual friend, Matt, was now looking for a roommate to fill this lease with. I remember when he first sent me the video of the apartment, I absolutely could not believe it. It was so much bigger than any place I had seen on StreetEasy, and it checked every single box that I was looking for. It was a 1-bedroom with a flex room, but both rooms were absolutely huge. I would get the master bedroom, which came with plenty of storage space and even my own balcony. My bedroom would be bigger than a lot of studios I had looked at, and I think the entire apartment is 970 square feet. It was also in a luxury condo building, so it had a doorman and a ton of great amenities. When he said it would be $21.25 a month for rent, I did realize that was higher than the original budget of $2,000 that I had set for myself. But this was also such an amazing spot and so much better than anything I considered myself potentially living in, so I decided it was well worth it. It also has a gym in the building, so that saves me from having to spend hundreds of dollars on an Equinox gym membership, which of course I was planning on doing. Also, because Matt's cousin lived there the last few years, he was planning on leaving most of the common area furniture, so that meant that I was really only responsible for buying furniture for my own room. This was a massive cost as well as hassle saver. This all moved super quickly, and within a day or so, Matt and I decided we really wanted to live together and would work with a broker to get everything finalized ASAP. So now fast forward just 2 days, I'm in the car heading home from Gainesville, feeling like $1,000,000. I've got a great apartment lined up, and I also just graduated from college. That's when my good friend calls me and tells me he got another job offer to join Amazon in New York City. Can you tell this guy is an absolute stud? He's so excited to have this offer and tells me he's free to live with me again. That's when I had to tell him that I'd already found another roommate and had an apartment lined up. He was pretty surprised this all had happened over the course of just 4 days, but he was happy that I got that all figured out and totally understood that he put me in a tough spot. Now to present day, I live with Matt in that great apartment here in Murray Hill. My buddy, he lives down in Gramercy and absolutely loves his apartment. He has 2 great roommates, and really everything worked out perfectly. I know this is a pretty wild story and most likely will not be applicable to a lot of you, but I hope it helps you see that even if things don't look too promising now, everything can still work out so much better than you ever anticipated. I've now lived here for the last 6 months and absolutely love it. I really am so grateful that everything worked out the way that it did. Not only did it allow me to find a great apartment, but it also helped me make some amazing new friendships. I do plan on making more videos in the future discussing how you can find your dream apartment in the city. Although my experience was pretty atypical and honestly super lucky and blessed by God, I've had a lot of friends who have since moved to the city, so I have seen kind of the different processes that they have gone through and definitely think that I can offer some good advice. Also expect a full apartment tour coming soon here in the next few weeks. Yes, it's been 6 months, but we are still finalizing some artwork and miscellaneous things here and there, so stay tuned for that video soon. And as always, if you have any questions at all, you can reach out to me on Instagram right here at Galbraith. I'd love to help you guys out. I wish you all the best of luck on your journeys, and I'll see you in the next video.